The cafe hummed with the lunch rush as Emma stood frozen in the doorway, her worn canvas bag heavy on her shoulder. Every table was full. Her heart sank. She had exactly 30 minutes before her shift at the hospital began, and she desperately needed to review the training manual one more time. Her eyes scanned the crowded room until they landed on a corner table by the window. A man in an expensive suit sat alone, his dark eyes fixed on his laptop. The warm sunlight streaming through the glass made the empty chair across from him seem almost inviting. Emma hesitated. The cafe buzzed with conversation and clinking cups, but something about approaching a stranger felt impossible. Still, her feet were aching from standing all morning at her other job, and she could not face another meal eaten while walking. She took a breath and moved toward the table. "Excuse me," she said softly. "I know this is forward, but would you mind if I sat here? Everywhere else is taken." The man looked up. He had kind eyes beneath serious brows, and a neatly trimmed beard that gave him an air of quiet authority. For a moment, he simply studied her, and Emma felt her cheeks flush. "Only if you eat too," he said finally, gesturing to the menu. "You look like you've been running all day." Emma blinked in surprise. "Oh, I could not possibly. I just need a place to sit for a bit." "Please," he insisted, his voice firm but gentle. "I am Alessandro, and I know what it looks like when someone is pushing too hard. Sit. Eat. I am buying." There was something in his tone that reminded Emma of her late father, that same quiet certainty that made arguing feel pointless. She sank into the chair with a grateful sigh. "Emma," she offered, "and thank you. Really, this is very kind." Alessandro flagged down a server with an ease that spoke of someone used to being heard. "Two of today's special, please, and whatever pastry is fresh." As they waited, Emma pulled out her training manual, tried to focus on the highlighted sections, but she could feel Alessandro watching her, not in an uncomfortable way, but with a curiosity that seemed genuine. "New job?" he asked. Emma nodded, managing a tired smile. "Trying to become a certified nursing assistant. The exam is next week, and I have been studying between shifts." She paused, then added quietly, "My daughter needs new school supplies, and the certification means better pay." "How old is she?" 7. Her name is Lily." Emma's face softened the way it always did when she spoke of her daughter. "She is the reason I keep going. Every extra shift, every late night studying, it is all for her." Alessandro leaned back in his chair, his expression thoughtful. "My mother raised me alone," he said after a moment. "I watched her work 3 jobs to keep food on our table. I never understood how she did it until I was much older." Something in Emma's chest loosened. Here was someone who understood, truly understood, what it meant to carry the weight of another life on your shoulders. Their food arrived, and the aroma made Emma realize just how hungry she actually was. Alessandro watched with satisfaction as she took her first bite, then returned to his laptop, giving her space to eat in peace. They fell into a comfortable rhythm. Emma studied while she ate, occasionally glancing up to find Alessandro working on what looked like financial reports. The cafe noise faded into background music, and for the first time in months, Emma felt something close to relaxation. "May I ask you something?" Alessandro said eventually. Emma looked up from her manual. "Of course. Why nursing? There are easier paths." Emma set down her pen, considering the question. "When Lily was 3, she got very sick. Pneumonia. We spent a week in the hospital, and I watched these nurses care for her like she was their own child. They saw me sleeping in that awful chair, and they brought me blankets. They noticed I was not eating, and they shared their lunches. They saved my daughter's life, but they also showed me what real compassion looks like." Her eyes grew distant with the memory. "I thought, if I could give that to even one person, to one scared mother sitting by her child's bed, then maybe all the struggle would mean something." Alessandro was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was rough with emotion. "That is a beautiful reason." They talked for another 20 minutes, the conversation flowing easily between them. Alessandro told her about building his business from nothing, about the mentors who believed in him when he had no reason to believe in himself. Emma shared stories about Lily, about the small joys that made the hard days bearable. When Emma finally checked her watch, she gasped, "I have to go. My shift starts in 15 minutes." She stood quickly, gathering her things. "Thank you, Alessandro. This meant more than you know. Not just the food, but the conversation. I have not talked to another adult about anything real in so long." Alessandro stood as well, reaching into his jacket. He pulled out a business card and wrote something on the back. "Take this. The number on the back is my personal line." Emma looked at the card, her eyes widening as she read the front. Alessandro Moretti, CEO, Moretti Healthcare Solutions. Her mouth fell open slightly. "You run the company that owns my hospital," she whispered. Alessandro smiled. "Then you already work for me, in a way." "Emma, I see something in you. That determination, that heart. When you pass your certification exam, and you will pass it, call me. I want to know how it goes." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "I do not know what to say." "Say you will not give up. Say you will keep fighting for that daughter of yours. And say you will remember that sometimes kindness is not charity. Sometimes it is just one person recognizing the strength in another." Emma nodded, unable to speak past the lump in her throat. She clutched the card to her chest like a lifeline. 2 weeks later, Alessandro was in a board meeting when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then smiled so broadly that his colleague stopped mid-sentence. "Excuse me," he said, standing. "I need to take this." Emma's voice came through nervous but jubilant. "I passed. I actually passed." "I never doubted you for a moment," Alessandro said warmly. "Now, about that position in our pediatric wing that just opened up, I think you would be perfect for it." In the background, he could hear a child's voice asking if that was the nice man from the café, and Alessandro felt his heart expand in a way it had not in years. Sometimes the smallest acts of kindness create the biggest changes. A shared table, a purchased meal, a moment of genuine human connection. These are the threads that weave together to create something beautiful, something that reminds us why we keep going even when the road is hard. Emma never forgot that day, and neither did Alessandro. Years later, when Lily graduated from medical school, both of them would be there in the audience. Proof that sometimes strangers become family, and sometimes one cup of coffee can change everything. If this story touched your heart, please share, and subscribe. Leave a comment telling us about a time when a stranger's kindness changed your day. Your story might inspire someone else who needs hope today.